He makes $700 million a year, gives away entire islands the way you hand out business cards, throws Lamborghinis to strangers like confetti, charters private jets just to watch them explode on camera, and still flashes that perfect boy-next-door smile that has hypnotized half the planet into believing he is the kindest soul alive. Yet behind that smile lies a story so dark, so ruthless, so drenched in sleepless nights, broken friendships, panic attacks, lawsuits, and bloodshot eyes that most of the people who helped him build his empire still wake up in cold sweats when his name is mentioned in the dark. Today you are going to walk through the exact moments that turned a shy, awkward 13-year-old from a tiny brick house in Greenville, North Carolina, into the most powerful creator the internet has ever seen, and you are going to see the price he paid in flesh and sanity, the childhood friends he turned into millionaires, and then into ghosts who refused to speak his name, the contestants who left his $5 million game show with injuries and unpaid wages. The 3 days he vanished from the face of the earth because his heart felt like it was exploding inside his chest, and the one secret that still keeps him awake at 4 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering if the crown is worth the blood dripping from his hands. 10 years ago the bedroom was small, the blinds always half-closed, the only light coming from an old Dell monitor flickering with Minecraft videos that barely cracked 20 views. Jimmy Donaldson sat cross-legged on an unmade bed, hoodie pulled over his head, eyes wide and unblinking, rewinding the same viral clip for the 100th time, pausing at the exact second the hook hit, scribbling numbers in a spiral notebook that would one day be worth more than most people's houses. While the other kids in Greenville were outside riding bikes, Jimmy was inside dissecting the algorithm like a surgeon cutting into a living body, whispering to himself that he had found the cheat code to the entire internet. One evening he marched into the living room, stood in front of his mother, and declared with the absolute certainty of a prophet, "I'm going to be the biggest YouTuber that ever lived." She laughed the way mothers do when their children say they'll become astronauts, ruffled his hair, told him to finish his homework. Jimmy didn't laugh. He turned around, walked back to his cave of blue light, closed the door, and the obsession swallowed him whole. At 19 he had saved exactly $10,000, every penny he owned, and he bet it all on an idea that sounded like madness. He would sit in front of a camera and count out loud from 1 to 100,000, live, no cuts, no sleep, 44 hours straight. He spent the money on cameras, lights, a tiny rented studio that smelled like old carpet and desperation. The timer started. Hour 1, hour 10, hour 20, his voice cracked, his eyes turned the color of raw meat, caffeine and stubbornness the only things keeping his heart beating. By hour 39 the walls were breathing, shadows crawled across his vision. He vomited off camera but refused to stop, because stopping would mean the algorithm would forget him. When he finally hit 100,000 the chat exploded, the video rocketed to millions of views overnight, and the name MrBeast was suddenly everywhere. But when the electricity bill arrived a month later his mother had to pay it because Jimmy was flat broke again. That single video taught him the formula that would make him a billionaire. Pain equals views, sacrifice equals power, and if you are willing to destroy yourself on camera, the world will pay you to keep bleeding. Money poured in like a flood, and Jimmy did what any 19-year-old genius would do. He hired his 4 best friends from high school, paid them $12 an hour in cash, promised them the world. Within 2 years, some of them were millionaires, flying private, buying houses their parents could only dream of, but the cost was written in the bags under their eyes and the silence that grew between them. 100-hour weeks became normal, sleep became a luxury, complaints became suicide. Former employees who only speak in whispers describe a workplace that felt like a cult running on Red Bull and fear. If you slowed down, you were replaced before your chair was cold. If you questioned the mission, you were gone the same day. No goodbye, just a non-disclosure agreement, and a box of your things waiting by the door. Loyalty was rewarded with millions. Exhaustion was punished with exile. Childhood friendships were melted down and reforged into a corporate machine that never stopped grinding. And some of those friends became ghosts who still flinch when they hear the name MrBeast in a crowded room. In 2024, the machine gave birth to its biggest monster yet. Beast Games, 1,000 contestants, $5 million in cash prizes, the largest reality competition in streaming history, broadcast live on Amazon Prime. On camera, it looked like pure joy, screaming contestants, exploding challenges, Jimmy grinning like a kid on Christmas morning. Behind the cameras, the leaked documents read like a horror script. Contestants allegedly left in freezing warehouses with little food or water for hours. Injuries that sent people to the hospital, wages delayed for weeks. At least 5 active lawsuits accusing the production of gross negligence and unsafe conditions. One contestant who spoke anonymously said the crew treated human beings like disposable props, that all that mattered was getting the shot, no matter who got hurt. Jimmy has denied personal responsibility, pointing fingers at contractors, but the perfect smile now has visible cracks, and the internet is starting to notice. By 2023, the pressure had become a living thing inside his chest. One morning Jimmy simply disappeared. No posts, no stories, no trace. For 3 full days, the most subscribed creator on the planet went dark. When he finally resurfaced, he looked like a different person, eyes hollow, voice shaking, and in a raw, unscripted video, he told the world the truth. He had been having panic attacks every single day, waking up at 3 a.m. convinced he was dying, losing 20 pounds in a month because food tasted like ash, lying on bathroom floors clutching his chest while the empire he built kept growing without him. The same kid who once stayed awake 44 hours to count to 100,000 was now being eaten alive by the beast he had created. Yet somehow the beast keeps growing. Feastables chocolate sits on every Walmart shelf in America. Beast burger locations multiply like viruses. He is raising hundreds of millions of dollars to build an actual city branded with his name, complete with schools, studios, and neighborhoods where children will grow up thinking MrBeast is a god. Forbes estimates his net worth at $1.5 billion and climbing. But in private group chats and anonymous forums, the warnings never stop. He will burn everything and everyone if it means staying number 1. The kindness you see on camera is real, but it is also the most expensive marketing campaign in history. Every dollar given away is an investment that returns 100-fold in attention, power, and control. Jimmy Donaldson has proved one thing with terrifying clarity. If you are willing to sacrifice absolutely everything, your health, your friendships, your sleep, your peace of mind, maybe even pieces of your soul, you can become the biggest creator who ever lived. But there is one question that now follows him like a shadow he can never outrun. A question nobody dares to ask on camera. A question that echoes in the silence after the cameras stop rolling. Was it worth it? Was the money worth the nights he spent curled on the floor thinking he was dying? Was the fame worth the friends who no longer speak his name? Was the crown worth the blood he can never wash off? Only Jimmy knows the real answer. And he's not talking. Not yet. If you want more untold stories of the empires that rose in light and now rot in darkness, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because the next crown might already be cracking while you're watching this. I'll see you in the next one.